This is a great example where dumb summaries can help you understand confusing ideas and the double passage in particular. So for number 41, we have an instruction that we need to follow right from the start. They're telling us to look at lines 64 to 66 and understand what Thoreau thinks. We cannot comment on what Lincoln thinks until we have a good understanding of what Thoreau is saying. So if we go to those lines, it's right here. It says, if it is of such a nature that it requires you to be the agent of injustice to another, then I say, break the law. So what is he saying? Break the law. It could not be more clear than that. So what would Lincoln say to that? Well, we don't have a line reference here, so we have to rely on our memories. But luckily, there were a ton of questions that were about the Lincoln passage that told us exactly where to look to get Lincoln's view on this. So when we read all of this stuff here, let me just zoom in. This we had to read for a bunch of vocab questions. There was a line reference question about this. So it's not a coincidence that the SAT is pointing you to the lines that you will need for later questions. They do that, I think, on purpose. I hope. So when he says, let me not be understood as saying there are no bad laws, blah, 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 it means to say no such thing. Although bad laws, if they exist, should be repealed as soon as possible, still while they continue in force, for the sake of example, they should be religiously observed. We had a vocab question about that very line, so we definitely read it. They should be religiously observed. So Thoreau is saying break the law. Lincoln is saying follow the law. So what is our dumb summary here? Our dumb summary is that these two people disagree. That can be helpful. So now we go to the answer choices, and they're basically asking what would Lincoln say about Thoreau. He would say, I disagree. So choice A is positive, an excusable reaction to an intolerable situation. No, Lincoln does not say it's excusable. That's a positive idea. He would say, no, it's wrong, a negative idea. A rejection of the country's proper forms of remedy. Well, that's negative, so that fits. Let's keep going. An honorable response. That's positive. Nope. Bad. A misapplication of a core principle of the Constitution. Well, that also seems negative. So you might be down to B and D here. Hopefully you've found that line reference that we were just talking about, and you kind of see what Lincoln is saying here. Notice, though, he never talks about the Constitution. So this is a good example where if I were between B and D, I would remember that SAT questions prefer weaker answer choices. D is a little too specific, a little too strong, and so all things equal, B is better because it says less. It still gets across the same idea that Lincoln rejects Thoreau's belief, disagrees with it, but it doesn't get specific about why he disagrees, and that is preferable. And so that is the answer simply because it's a little bit weaker than D. But the thing that you should really take away from this question is understanding how positive and negative connotations and dumb summaries can really help us understand these double passages. Almost always the people are going to disagree. So you can usually make that assumption. But we eliminated two choices because they suggested agreement, not disagreement. It's that simple a lot of times. Just positives and negatives can help you.